Ginger farmers in Kaduna State have been counting their losses of over 10 billion naira as fungi disease ravages most of their seeds. The disease was first noticed in Kachia, Jaba, Kagago and Gemma local council areas in the southern parts of the state, where ginger is cultivated on a large scale. Our correspondent, Nisi Gabriel, speaks to some ginger farmers who recount their losses.
Kaduna State ranks the highest in ginger production in Nigeria, contributing to Nigeria's place as one of the largest producers and exporters of ginger in Africa. The outbreak of the fungi pathogen infection has destroyed several ginger farms such as this one, causing a serious setback for ginger production in Kaduna and threatening Nigeria's position on the global chart of ginger production. This fungi infection on ginger farms has devastated livelihoods of numerous smallholder farmers in southern Kaduna. What was once a thriving, lush ginger farm has now become a mere remnant with all its leaves shriveled and lifeless. Ginger has emerged as a highly coveted produce in Asia, Europe and America, contributing significantly to Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings. In the second quarter of 2023, Nigeria's ginger exports reached an impressive 10 billion naira. Now, a concerning issue has arisen as a fungi pathogens infection is affecting ginger production across numerous farms in Kaduna State.
Statistics showed over 2,500 hectares of the ginger farms were affected, and it's an unprecedented loss that hit our farmers, and honestly it's troubling because Kaduna is the main producer of ginger in the country. We do more than 85% of the ginger in the country, and Nigeria is the second largest exporter. So it is quite troubling, and I know even the global ginger market will be hit by this sad event. As it is now, harvest, we are not expecting anything close to 30%. Nothing less than 10 billion naira has been lost, if you check what we ordinarily should expect from the 2,500 hectares. Not less than 10 billion naira.
Aminu Inuwa is a ginger farmer who has been in the business for over 20 years. He says when the ginger leaves were withering, they didn't take it seriously. Not until the disease began to spread like wildfire, infecting every ginger cluster, therefore posing a monumental loss to farmers.
Since I started farming ginger, there was never a time that I planted ginger more than this year. Because I know as of this year, I planted almost 20 hectares of ginger. Not less than 40 to 50 million has been lost by me in that regard.
We embarked on a short trip to Kachia Local Council to visit some affected ginger farm clusters. Driving through a narrow pathway, Abdul Kabir Abubakar leads us to one of the ginger farms he manages. The farmers we met on ground recount their losses.
I prepare to 10 hectares for Baraka Dangiwa Ventures Company. I will lose about 15 million. Seed and fertilizer and the workers.
The total sum of our investment to this ginger is about 34 to 38 million in the whole 24 hectares of land that we planted.
According to officials, experts from the Institute of Agricultural Research, Ahmadu Bello University, took samples of the affected soil and plants for laboratory analysis, and recommendations were made on how to tackle the situation.
Researchers told us next season the seed rhizomes, the ginger rhizome must be dressed with metalaxyl-based fungicide before they plant, because it will take up to 2 years for it to go. Treating the soil, So when we treat the seeds and we dress the seeds with the fungicide, and then raised beds in the land preparation, so that there will be proper drainage. This fungi thrives in a damp area, so the more the dampness, the more it spreads, and it's airborne. That was why it spread like wildfire.
It was late by the time we received the recommended fungicide. the disease has already taken over the crop.
The devastating ginger epidemic reaffects Nigeria's non-oil export performance and is already affecting the livelihoods of individuals within southern Kaduna. Senator Katung, who represents the people of southern Kaduna in the Senate, is calling for measures to arrest the situation and cushion the sufferings of farmers.
You can only imagine the plight at the moment because all that they've worked for has been paralyzed. So they are looking up to government to come to their aid. So there's really nothing they can do. Apart from the implications to the ginger, we are also suspecting that some of the fungi can also affect humans. And that's why when it becomes more dangerous, and that's why we also want to draw attention to the world that, look, immediate measures need to be taken to ensure that we find out actually what this fungi is and its effect not only on the ginger but also on humans.
Ginger, a cash crop, is the main source of livelihood for the people of southern Kaduna. Several ginger processing factories and warehouses are scattered across southern Kaduna. With this fungi pathogen infection outbreak, many farmers have been left devastated, their investments gone. They want the government to provide succor.
We are calling for the government and all the agencies involved to come into our aid, to come into Kaduna, southern Kaduna, to rescue ginger farmers in southern Kaduna with everything that is possible to make them revive, to make them come back to life as far as ginger farming is concerned.
Experts say this disease outbreak should serve as an eye-opener for farmers to explore the opportunities in agricultural insurance, which will provide financial protection for their business. Nisi Gabriel, Arise News, Kaduna.
Well, Aya, what's next?
Joining us now on the morning show is Senator Sunday Marshall Katung, National Assembly member representing Kaduna South Senatorial District of Kaduna State. Good morning, Senator Katung, and thanks for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning to all of you, and thanks for having me.
Well, Senator, it has been reported that the state government sent experts to the affected communities in Kaduna South, and that the state government has also sent pesticides to assist the farmers. How much difference has that made? You are in Abuja representing the people. Have you made any direct efforts to see if the federal government can also intervene? Yesterday being a World Food Day, by the way.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abati and the Arise family for the wonderful work you're doing, creating awareness on this particular issue and other issues generally as it affects Nigerians. We have tried to do the best we can to bring this matter of the pathogen that has affected the ginger in southern Kaduna to the fore. And gratefully, like you clearly stated, and from the report of your correspondent, the state government, represented by the Commissioner of Agriculture and the Executive Secretary of Nigerian Export Promotion Council, visited the area, did an on-the-spot assessment, and have given an interim report from what we understand. Unfortunately, this disease started in July, and by the time awareness was created and interventions came, it was practically too late in the day. Most of the produce had been destroyed by this fungi. So what we are actually looking at now, mitigation for the future and immediate measures that can be taken also to mitigate the losses that our people have suffered on account of this disease. That's exactly what we have done, and that was the essence of my motion in the Senate.
Yes. I was just going to talk about the motion you moved yesterday for an urgent need to address what's going on in southern Kaduna and supported by a number of your colleagues in the House, including the Senate President. In fact, you had highlighted, or it was highlighted, that southern Kaduna accounts for the largest producer of ginger in Nigeria and possibly the third largest in the world. And so I'd like you to talk about, perhaps give us an idea of the level of loss. Now, NEMA has been directed to urgently intervene and support the farmers who have, incurred losses. What kind of support are we looking at from the national agency? What are you looking for your people in southern Kaduna?
Well, thank you very much. I want to first appreciate the Senate President and my colleagues in the Senate for supporting this very critical motion when I moved it, and the immediate steps that we are also taking to ensure that there's some kind of remediation to the people. One of the things that we want, like I clearly stated in the immediate, is to ensure that these farmers survive to the next farming season. Because it's an issue of survival. Most people have divested from farming food crops to this cash crop because of the activities of bandits who have destroyed most of the farms. Because ginger is embedded, it is harder to destroy. So it's been more secured and providing income to them that they can use to also buy food crops. But now that this fungi has destroyed this cash crop, it means that the people are left at the mercy of themselves. And the essence of government is to provide security and welfare for its citizens. And that's why we called on the government to ensure that immediate palliatives are provided for the people. We want an on-the-spot assessment of the level of destruction, all the people affected, some kind of indexing, and some cash provision given to them just to provide succor. Like you also stated, southern Kaduna produces 85% of the ginger in this country. Nigeria is the second largest producer of ginger in the world, next only to India. And the Nigerian ginger is the purest form, which is used principally in the pharmaceutical and cosmetic industries. So with what has happened, definitely the export and income arising from the ginger is going to be affected. Like your reporter stated, truthfully, in the second quarter of 2003, Nigeria realized about 10 billion naira from the export of ginger. Now you can only imagine what is going to happen going forward. It's like a total loss that we have incurred as a country. The other states that produce ginger have also been affected. I know farmers even in Abuja whose produce were also affected by this fungi. So it's an issue that requires immediate intervention by the federal government, both in alleviating the sufferings of the people by providing cash to enable them to survive, then also providing pesticides and fungicides that they are going to use in the course of the next farming season. So those are principally the things that we are looking out for. We have reached out to FEMA, who are saddled with the responsibility of carrying out some of the responsibilities that, of the prayers that we ask in that motion. And we believe that within the next few days, they are going to begin to make the right moves to see what they can do by providing maybe some relief materials to our people.
Okay, I'd like to ask you, I'm just curious. Nigeria is the second largest, or third largest ginger producer in the world, and you said in one quarter we made 10 billion naira, which is very paltry compared to a close to $3-4 billion ginger market. Why do we make something very paltry like that for ginger? What can be done to be able to improve how much we make? Because 10 billion is very paltry, being the source for a very important, herb like ginger. Why do we make that small amount? And what can be done to increase that amount of money?
Thank you very much, Rufai, for that question. The principal reason is that there's been no encouragement from the federal government, as it were, in the sense of creating an enabling environment, also providing the necessary tools that would enable these farmers grow bigger farms to enable our export increase and thereby earning foreign exchange for the country. That basically is the reason.
So what are you doing as their senator, as their representative of the ginger farmers? What are you doing for them?
Well, we've taken steps now to ensure that some of these things via this motion are provided. The first step, like we said, the survival of the farmers. Next step is to ensure that an enabling environment is created by the government to ensure that there's an expansion of the farms and security of the farms as well, both from fungi, the fungi attacks, and also the activities of bandits. Because some of the farmers have also been discouraged from embarking on the production of ginger because of the banditry. So once there is security, there will be expansion. Once there's an enabling environment also by providing the necessary tools, you can see that the growth of ginger too will expand.
Have you ever thought of adding value to the ginger? Because you talk about pharmaceutical ginger, sometimes you just ship it up in raw material form. What about adding value to it here? Because that's where the real money is.
Well, I'll give you this example. The state government actually has a factory where ginger was supposed to be processed, but unfortunately, the factory has gone into comatose. There's also a private venture where ginger is processed into oleoresin. That is an essential oil that is extracted from ginger that is used in the pharmaceutical and cosmetic industry. So those initiatives are there. But the major problem is energy. First, the government initiative died because of the cost of production. The private initiative too has also been affected by the same. The cost of energy, if you add the cost of energy to the value you are getting, you discover that you are not actually getting much. So that has also killed the private initiative, but there's a giant private initiative situated in the headquarters of my senatorial district that has not been able to do well on account of the cost of production.
Well, Senator, it's good
with energy, to be precise.
Okay, well, the audio seems to be failing, but I was going to say it's good to see that you're on the lookout for your people and you have a special eye on disease outbreaks. Before these fungi pathogens that you have talked about, sometime in July, there was the spread of diphtheria. I think that was a problem then, which you also brought up on the floor of the Senate. Now, what's the situation with that now? Has that been contained? Or it still remains a problem, in addition to this problem with ginger and fungi?
Thank you. Fortunately, because of the alarm we raised on when the diphtheria disease started, it was immediately contained. Efforts were made both from the state and the federal government and also private initiatives via NGOs to contain the spread. So principally, it's been contained within my senatorial district. But I was following up 3 days ago, and I understand that about 17,000 people countrywide have been infected by these diphtherias, which means it is still spreading. So we are still calling that government takes immediate steps to ensure that the spread is curtailed. But gratefully, within my senatorial district, the spread was contained on account of the first alarm we raised.
Well, Senator, on that note, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us on the morning.